Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I think, Amira, if you don't mind just clicking on presenters mode to start the slideshow so we can get full screen, that would be fantastic. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, and good afternoon for taking the time to join us for this wonderful occasion. We're really excited to have two fantastic enterprises with us today over the next hour. So it's a pleasure being able to host this session. And it's great to see many familiar faces in the room today, but also some entrepreneurs and other folks on the call that I haven't had the pleasure of interacting with. So I look forward to also getting to know you. Maybe before I begin, I'd like to quickly introduce myself and my colleague Adrija, who will be co-hosting today's event. For those who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Jordan, and I'm an associate on the Impact Intelligence and Education team at Roots of Impact. And within the Briddhi program, I help support primarily with SYNC, or Social Impact Incentives, as well as the Impact Ready Matching Fund, or IRMF program, as well as our Impact Link Finance Readiness Bootcamp. So that's where you would see me mostly interacting within the Biniyog Briddhi program. And maybe Adrija, if you don't mind quickly introducing yourself as well, that would be great.
Sure, thanks, Jordan. Hi, everyone. I'm Adrija. Again, great to see some familiar faces here. I am a senior associate in the Impact Intelligence and Education team at Roots of Impact, and I'm the program manager of Phase 2 of PPT. Looking forward to the discussions today.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. So we can move on to the next slide. And now we want to take this opportunity to also turn it over to you and better understand who is with us today. So therefore, it would be excellent if each of you could maybe type in the chat to at least say your name and organization so we have a sense of who's here. And we hope today, in addition to hearing from the wonderful panelists, will also provide a good opportunity to connect with other entrepreneurs in the entrepreneurship ecosystem who you may not have come into contact with yet. So do take this opportunity to say hello and maybe make a new connection along the way. So we can move on to the next slide now. And I think here, as everyone's introducing themselves in the chat, so great to have people, looks like from both accelerators and incubators, as well as entrepreneurs on the line. So thanks again for joining. So yeah, on behalf of the Biniyog Briddhi program, I'm really pleased to welcome you to today's event, which is titled Collecting Impact Data from Female Customers. Today, we have quite a special opportunity to hear directly from two impact-driven enterprises, creating significant positive change for underserved customers across Bangladesh. So first, we have ATEC, which is an award-winning impact enterprise with teams across different countries, including Cambodia, Bangladesh, Australia, and Singapore. They produce two innovative products that include an electric induction stove called the eCook that makes cooking cleaner, safer, and more efficient for household cooking. And then their second product is a biodigester that converts farm waste into safe and clean biogas for daily cooking needs, which in turn generates emissions reductions in wood and methane. And both of their products advance clean cooking solutions, and their primary users are female, who bear the disproportionate brunt of poor health outcomes and decreased productivity from using traditional wood-based dirty cooking solutions. And last year, ATEC Bangladesh received an Impact Ready Matching Fund, or IRMF, contract from the Briddhi program. And just very briefly, the IRMF instrument helps financially incentivize ATEC for building up its impact measurement and management system even further. And with IRMF, ATEC is eligible to receive up to $100,000 in matching funds based on their recent investment raise, with the funding being contingent upon their team's completion of specific IMM deliverables core to the IRMF curriculum. And as you'll learn about, ATEC has quite a sophisticated impact measurement approach that includes alignment to the UN SDGs and real-time data being tracked into its impact dashboard. So we'll have an exciting opportunity to learn more about this directly today. And then secondly, we have Vertical Innovations, which is an impact enterprise that uses IoT to make retail more efficient and convenient. They design, develop, and deploy intelligent vending machines equipped with sensors that track inventory levels, product sales, and customer behavior, which can be used to improve the machine's performance and optimize the retail experience. Their flagship product, Jyoti, is an automated vending solution for easier access to female personal care products, and they currently deploy their Jyoti vending machines in garment factories across Bangladesh to serve female customers. And last year, Vertical Innovations participated in the Impact Link Finance Readiness Bootcamp run by Biniyog Briddhi. And the bootcamp, just for everyone's awareness, is a 3-month program offered free to selected enterprises to receive hands-on support to elevate their impact measurement and management systems even further. In doing so, the idea is that participating enterprises would become better prepared to receive either an IRMF or a SYNC contract later. And Vertical Innovations did an excellent job in the bootcamp, and our team at Roots of Impact really enjoyed working with them to help design an innovative incentive scheme for them to collect better impact data from their female customers. So today we also have the exciting opportunity to hear more about that directly from the Vertical Innovations team. So thanks again for joining us. And in general, our discussion today will revolve around common challenges encountered when collecting data from female customers, allowing both ATEC and Vertical Innovations to share examples of how you overcame those challenges by designing data collection schemes to incentivize data being collected in a more scalable and less burdensome manner. Awesome. So that's just some general context for today, and we can, with that, move on to the next slide and very briefly introduce Biniyog Briddhi. I'll try and be very brief about this. So as most of you might know, Briddhi is a public-private development partnership funded by the Swiss Embassy in Bangladesh and run by Roots of Impact and Light Castle Partners. The program launched in 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic and helped seed both the demand and supply sides of the impact investing and impact entrepreneurship ecosystems within Bangladesh. For impact-driven entrepreneurs, we offer multiple areas of support, including within both the capacity building and catalytic funding pillars of the program, as you see up on the slide. So this includes, for example, SYNC and IRMF, as I mentioned earlier, but also includes other tailored programs such as Voucher Scheme and our Impact Link Finance Readiness Bootcamp, where entrepreneurs can benefit from hands-on support in impact measurement and management and investment readiness from expert mentors and local incubators and accelerators. And this year, we are very, very excited to kick off another 4-year phase of Briddhi, which means that we will soon launch more calls for applications from impact-driven enterprises for these programs. So both Adrija and I will be visiting Bangladesh in May and look forward to hosting a large-scale event to officially launch the next phase of the program. So please be on the lookout for more information about how to receive support from us. We're really excited to continue the program and creating impact together. So thanks so much. And before I proceed to explain the agenda very briefly, I wanted to pause and ask if anyone has questions at this time about Briddhi that maybe we could help answer. But if not, I'll continue. Okay. Let's continue in that case. Moving on to the next slide. I'll just quickly explain today's agenda. We are nearly finished with the kickoff segment and will soon begin a moderated panel discussion with ATEC and Vertical Innovations. My colleague Adrija will be moderating that panel for about 30 minutes. Following that, we'll engage in an audience Q&A portion for 20 minutes. So we received your wonderful questions before today and also give you the opportunity to chime in if you want to raise your virtual hand and speak up or type your question into the chat box. We're more than happy to address them. And during that part, and basically after that, we'll close today's event with some parting thank yous before wrapping things up. So maybe with the agenda now set, it's all right to stop sharing the screen, and I'll take the opportunity to introduce our wonderful panelists really briefly. Great. Thanks a lot, Amira. So first from ATEC, we have Shubhasish Bhowmik. He served as the country director for ATEC Australia International Limited in Bangladesh since May 2020. In that role, Shubhasish has helped launch the organization's operations in Bangladesh and is responsible for overseeing all operations from fundraising to business development, marketing, sales, and more. And he brings with him over 16 years of leadership experience within fast-growing local and multinational companies, including extensive stints at Unigas and Navana Engineering Limited. So Shubhasish, it's such a pleasure to have you on the call, and thank you again for taking the time to join us.
Thank you,
And
Jordan.
then, absolutely, and then we move on to Rizwan and Dina from Vertical Innovations. So starting with Rizwan, he's been following his passion for public health. He founded Vertical Innovations in February 2020 and has led the organization as its dynamic leader since then. In this role, he has successfully steered the impact enterprise into winning multiple competitions, attracting investment, and developing strong traction. Prior to founding Vertical Innovations, Rizwan honed his leadership skills over the past 18 years with a 15-year track record in the technology division of Grameenphone, the leading telecom operator. So starting from the role of system engineer in the network integration team, Rizwan rose to the rank of general manager and lead of the IT assurance and technology performance reporting team. So thank you again, Rizwan, for taking the time to join us and share more about Vertical Innovations. And lastly, we have Dina. Last but not least, Dina Afsana is a co-founder and head of business with Vertical Innovations. In that role, her key responsibilities include driving B2B and B2C revenue growth, acquiring new clients, and ensuring end user satisfaction. Her background is diverse as she holds advanced degrees in mathematics and physics, in addition to serving as a radio show host and being active in the Bangladesh debate scene. Very exciting. Thank you once again, Dina, for joining us. And those are our wonderful panelists for today. So I've talked at length, and now I'm very excited to pass the mic to Adrija, who will carry things forward and kick off today's moderated panel. Adrija, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Jordan. And I'd just like to restate that this is very much just me facilitating a conversation. So feel free to jump in with your questions, raise your hand, or just leave them in chat and we'll take them on. But without much ado, I'm just going to jump into the questions that we already have here for our panelists. My first question then would be for Shubhasish. So could you share with the audience in about 3 minutes or so that what does ATEC do and why is it impactful?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd like to share my gratitude to basically invite me and represent ATEC here. And I can see lots of familiar faces. And Rizwan Bhai, I know him personally, and Bijon Bhai is there, and engineer Manik Bhai is there. And hello, everyone. So already Jordan gave you a little brief about myself. So let me jump into directly to the ATEC. So ATEC, the full form is appropriate technology. So that is the full form of ATEC. So we started our operation back in 2016 from Australia with a dream to solve one of the biggest problem in the world, that is clean cooking. So what is clean cooking? If I ask you that, what do you mean by clean cooking? So if you just check in your kitchens, what is the primary source of cooking? That is whether it's a clean or dirty. So you could be amazed to know that almost 50% of the population of the world, almost 4 billion people still cook with conventional or dirty cooking. And that is with woods, biomass fuels, and different kinds of fuel sources. Only few sources are clean, like natural gas is clean, LPG you can call yourself clean, but those two are basically widely acceptable right now, but those are not sustainable enough. So we tried to think about an alternative solution, how we can make this problem solved with the sustainable solutions. That's why we started our ventures with one of the most sustainable primary fuel sources is the biogas. Could be a very interesting sustainable solutions. And then we started our operation back in 2016 from Cambodia. After having operation there 2 years, 2 to 3 years, we saw that there's a huge acceptance of our product there, and we can basically scale it up to other countries. On that time, basically, we checked where there are the potential market, and we found Bangladesh is the most potential market for those biogas, where we have more than 4 million farmers who have cattle. The temperature is perfect from normally 30 to 35 degrees Celsius is very good for biogas. And that's why we thought that why don't we launch biogas, basically our technology in Bangladesh. So back in 2020, I started the operations of ATEC in Bangladesh just before the COVID. And guess what? Well, while I started, the COVID hits, and there are many challenges. But I'm really glad from that scratch position to wherever we are right now. I'm really proud with all of my team members that we have already created a huge impact in our ecosystem. But what we found after launching in Bangladesh, that we are basically serving a very small amount of people. So with that solutions, and this is not scalable at all to everyone. That's why we try to find out what could be the another primary fuel source that is sustainable and that can be served to rest of the peoples. And we found that electrical cooking could be a very sustainable solution in the going forward if we come up with some innovative solution. That's why we come into the electric cooking thing, but we try to think that what could be the innovation to make it more sustainable, and how we can make the product, both the products, make it very affordable. That's why we are the only company in the world who are basically working in the DMRV carbon credit. While I'm talking about DMRV, what is that? Digitally monitored, reviewed, and verified carbon credit. That is the most premium carbon credit that we can sell to the carbon credit buyers who has an agenda to make their organization net zero, and we get the fund and we can pass the benefits to the end users, so that while we are basically making the impact, monetizing the impact and passing back to the end users, and make the product more affordable and more sustainable. So that's in a nutshell, I think, all about ATEC. And in this path, we have owned multiple awards. We own Google Impact Award. We own the several awards as we are basically trying to solve one of the biggest problem in the world, along with monetizing carbon credit. And if you see in my background, our theme is basically unlock earning potential. So right now, our customers are getting money if they're using our systems, and they can monitor the impact to their little mobile device. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Shubhashish. It was so fascinating to hear about what ATEC is doing, and additionally about DMRV. It seems really interesting, and also, like you pointed out, like looking at your background, that it creates a fantastic earning potential for customers who would otherwise just be paying for using a fuel. Very nice, and I would like to, of course, get back to you with my next question once I've given a chance to Dina to share a little bit about vertical innovations. So similar to my question to Shubhashish, Dina, it would be really nice to hear what vertical innovations does and how is it impactful.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me here to know my experience, to let me actually express my experience here. Basically, Vertical Innovations Limited has some vertical, and Jyoti is one of them. Jyoti, what actually doing we are here? I want to share something before say what I'm doing, what we are actually doing. This is the system or socioeconomic system of the what can I say, like in this South Indian area or region, females are not most comfortable about their periods, about their period pads, sanitary pads, where this is most necessary things, like as a female or in a life of a female. So only because of this is a taboo product, this is a taboo word, most of the female of this country are not too much aware about this menstrual hygiene management. So this is all connected. So we think from vertical innovations, we can do something where we can start these females and they who are actually facing period poverty, which is the lackings of accessibility, availability, and proper information. So we are actually selling sanitary pads through our intelligent vending machine, where our vending machines are situated in a private place like washroom, like female common room, like prayer room in factory, I mean RNG sectors or school, college, universities, or any corporate, so that girls they can get their sanitary pads whenever they need it and without any hesitation, with a comfortable way. So that's actually doing currently we are. So far we deployed around 250 sanitary napkin vending machine around the Bangladesh. We already covered 18 districts, and in between them there are around 30 factories, around 95 educational institute, and 20 to 25 corporate sectors, corporate offices. So our unique user is like around 20,000. We started back in 2020, and after that, we all know that there was COVID situation. So first 3 years, we couldn't go to the market or to the females. But after 2 years, we are doing this from the last of 2021. And so far, this is actually our traction. So that's it. And about the impact data, maybe I will talk later about it. And about the impact we try to create here, that is actually how can I express this, like sanitation or menstruation hygiene management. This is so important for a female life. It directly involved to their health, and this is the health burden I can say, because this impacted directly their daily life, directly the productivity, efficiency, each and everything. So whenever we can provide something where they can manage their sanitation properly, so that's how we can impact on their life, on their health, and directly in the total workforces. So this is.
Thank you so much, Tina. Yeah, it is such an honor indeed to be speaking to both of you, like both ATEC and Vertical Innovations, because both these companies are doing something so deeply impactful and so important for women in general, and of course women in Bangladesh. Just in the interest of keeping the conversation moving, maybe my next question again back to Shubhashish. Would you like to share a little bit about your engagement with Briddhi, and how did it help you sort of develop your IMM system, like your impact measurement and management system?
Yeah, sure, definitely. So we basically connected with Biniyog Briddhi last year, and through financial help, and we build a very robust impact management system. So if you permit, I want to show you something exciting for you guys, something that could be very interesting for the newcomers, that how we basically manage impact data. So I can show you something really interesting. As I told you that we monetize the impact data to carbon credits, and then we are basically converting those carbon credits into fund, and then we are sending that, basically transferring that benefits to the end users. So let me share my screen,
that'd be fantastic,
and show you something really exciting, that how we measure. Yeah, sure. So is this visible to everyone?
Yes.
So let me show you. So here is the world map. And all the blue dots you see here is our presence. You see that we are in the Africa, we are a bit in India, we're in the Cambodia, and we're in the Bangladesh. So wherever we are selling product, you can geographically locate each and every device with all the data you require. And if I just zoom in, and then that could be very much fascinating is for the individual level as well. Let me zoom in a bit. So while I'm entering into the Bangladesh, you see we have presence in everywhere in the Bangladesh, everywhere. So that's a very proud moment for us that we are everywhere. So just I'm randomly selecting any customer. Just if I click any random customers, it will directly basically take me to that individual page. And if so I'm talking about our individual e-cook customers. So this is our basically e-cook customers data. So this customer, if you check in their data from when to when they are using these systems, how much kilowatt they are using the system, what is their stove ID, and whether they are a good pair or not, which stove they are using. They are using double stove. And most interestingly, I can show you that. And which day, if you Friday, Monday, Saturday, which day they cook, what percentage of their food out of the whole week. So we can see the micro level of data that what is the impact, or what is the impact of on particular customers. So that basically represents they are not using the other alternative fuel. And we can calculate here as well how much carbon. Right now, this is not a good customer for us for the carbon credit generation. We expect he or she used to at least 1 kilowatt in a day. Right now, the customer is using 0.22 kilowatt. It's okay. So average, our main important thing is that what will be the average. So if I show you that if I show you the global users level, we can basically, this dashboard will show you that what is the overall range of customers users globally. Let me show you the global users. Just a minute. It will take a bit time. Yes, here you can see. Here you can see, I'm showing you Bangladesh, Cambodia, Rwanda, and other places. These are the each and every day. I'm showing you April to say 2 data, April 9 data, April 6 data from to current data, 2024 as well, March 10 data as well. Each and every day we can see what is the cumulative percentage of people using our systems country-wise. How much people of them are using double stove or single stove, and what is that geographical presence. This is how we basically generated our monitored data, and then how we basically convert this data. This data we have registered ourselves as a gold standard. We have applied for the gold standard certifications. So that certificate basically ensures this data are authentic. And while they are issuing certificate, we are basically giving that certificates to our carbon credit buyers. This is the part of that e-cook part. Let me show you something really interesting that never happened in Bangladesh in biogas industry as well. So let me share my screen again.
Yeah. Yeah, Shubhashish, thank you so much for this. I think it was already very interesting. I would definitely like to also be able to show to the audience the biogas system, but I was thinking that maybe it would fit in rather well in the next part of the questions.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. And I would then like to move on with my next question to vertical innovations, perhaps, and hear from Rizwan a little bit in terms of, again, how was your experience with working with Briddhi, and what has your journey been through the voucher scheme and then the ILF readiness bootcamp?
Thanks, Adrija. So I was really watching how Shubhashish bhai was showing a dashboard and how extensive level they were working. It's amazing. But on your question, Adrija, so we have been working with Biniyog Briddhi since the end of 2022 when we first applied for the voucher scheme actually. So initially we enrolled for the voucher scheme, we completed our trainings, our IMF readiness and IMM readiness documents and other parts. And in the meantime, we did already also enrolled in the ILF bootcamp. And in the ILF bootcamp, it was actually really eye-opening regarding the impact management and impact measurement, how the additionality we can involve in our part, and how actually what data we should actually focus on to collect. So basically, we have been working for quite some time before that, but to be frank, last year after doing the ILF bootcamp, it was a game changer thing that how we are now treating the impact data and how we are designing our system to collect the impact data. Not in the initial pilot phase, it might not be that much scalable, but we are also planning how to scale that part. And this was a great learning, actually, if I say, from the Biniyog Briddhi program, from the voucher scheme, and from the ILF bootcamp. Also, there was an interesting part last year that was the excursion, where we got to meet a lot of founders, ecosystem stakeholders in the impact domain here in Bangladesh. So this actually helps to know how the impact data are utilized, collected by different organizations, and how they are utilizing it for their goal, their fundraising. And obviously, the final goal is to for building a better world. That's what actually everyone is trying to do. So that was an amazing thing. So this is actually what my learning from the overall Biniyog Briddhi program. Take from
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rizwan. Just a short follow-up to that. Would you like to share a little bit about, say, the metrics that you are measuring or some of the valuable data points that you think you are able to gather through your IMM system?
Yeah, so let me share my screen also in some part over here. So basically, we have some dashboards where we monitor our daily users, how many new users count. But regarding the what I can say, regarding the data collection part, you know that we have different vending machines at different locations. So these vending machines are placed at different locations. So our agents, we call our micro entrepreneurs actually, or micro agents, who visits these locations frequently, either to refill the sanitary pads or to help the users reload in their Jyoti cards to collect the products, because we have an option where users can pre-purchase products in their Jyoti cards. So our agents help the user to reload their cards. So when they reload their cards, what we have done in our pilot, we are trying to capture some of the impact data, collect the impact data in a qualitative manner. So the agent actually have a mobile interface, mobile web interface, where they get this interface and they collect the data from here, specific device name, and they put their RFID, the name of the users, whether she's willing to say her age, and other details over there. So there are actually three parts over here. One is the affordability data we want to try to collect. The next one is the awareness data, and another one is the menstrual hygiene practice data. So what is the MHM status data? So this type of data that we have collected. So this is actually the pilot question here. You see some of the questionnaires are red marked. So we are actually omitting this question. We initially had this question, but now we are omitting this question because we thought that, okay, this is not going to help that much. So after collecting this data is actually stored directly in our server. This data is stored directly in our servers, and this data is assigned to a specific Jyoti ID. And these Jyoti ID are unique for each user. So whenever this user, we take survey again from this user, we will be seeing what additional changes has happened during this period from the first data collection to the second data collection. Another thing, this Jyoti database data storage helps us to provide some benefit to them. Like when someone participates in a survey, she or he deserves some benefits. So when we collect the data in Jyoti tagged with Jyoti ID, The second time when she is providing the survey code, she will be getting some sort of discounts in her next purchases from our vending machines. So this is how actually we are combining both qualitative data collection physically and also our system-based, system-generated benefits to the users also. So this is how actually we are trying to capture data. We are still in the pilot phase. We are trying to capture a few more data, analyze those, and refine our systems. So that's how actually we are building our IML system.
Thank you so much, Rizwan. I think both Shubhashish's dashboard, like the ATEC dashboard, and Rizwan's presentation on the Vertical Innovations dashboard must also be very insightful and informative for the audience here. With that, Shubhashish, I'm sorry I had to interrupt you back then, but I just want to make it more interactive with both the companies being able to chime in together. Do you think this would be now a good time for you to show the biogas dashboard from your company?
No problem. Let me show you that one as well.
Yeah.
So before showing you the data as well, so let me show you that how from the client onboarding from if you check about the sales funnel for awareness build up to basically after sales, how we basically preserve data, and that basically help us to basically measure the impact as well as manage the impact as well. So if I share you initially, this is our basically while we do lots of online advertising, and through that online advertising, people are basically come to this landing page. So, and for the biodigesters, here is the product itself, and where we explain what is the product itself, how you can avail it, and how many people's already used it, and how it, what is the performance of this product as well. After that, here is the process. We basically for taking for customers to give any kind of order, they have to fill up this form where we basically collect the initial data, whether what is the customer's occupations, what is the mobile numbers, whether they have cattle or not, how many people, family members are there. These are the very basic data we require before ordering any kind of our product. That basically give us that kind of analysis. And after that, I can show you that also in the biodigesters, we can, here is the biodigesters present. Again, we can geographically monitor each and every customers. And all the data from this one comes to a very sophisticated software again to our server. We manage through HubSpot. And interestingly, and we can check the customer's performance live as well. Here you can show you the particular, if anybody complained that my system is not working, my system is not producing enough gas, I can show you something really interesting here. So if this is one particular customers, if I check their on 18th, what is the performance of the systems, you can check on that day particular, the customers have used almost 977 liter of gas in a particular day, and how many hours they have cooked in that particular day. They have cooked during morning at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. continuously. Again, they cooked at 11 p.m. Again, they cooked during basically noon, afternoon. Basically, that this kind of data also give you an interesting insights regarding the impact they see in Bangladeshi people, how many times they cook, and how many times women are basically passing time in the cooking sectors. And you know the impact of these things if they don't use these systems. Every year, more than 105,000 women especially died due to the indoor air pollution, due to pulmonary diseases, especially women and children. But because they have to spend that much of time in the cooking sectors. But we can proudly say that now, even though you are passing this amount of time in kitchen, you are safe. It will be smoke free. You have all that flow. We have all the pressures. You can check your each and everything. Similarly, we have similar kind of things in our for eCook as well, where customers can check their cooking needs in the app. We have built up an interesting interesting app, eCook app, where customer can see how many hours they have cooked, what is their electricity bill, what could be their users pattern, everything they can see from their users dashboard. So the data that is not only preserving us, customer can check the data, then see the impact. Also, they can see how much their savings if they are from the conventional fuel.
Thank you so much. That was incredibly insightful. With that, given the time that we are at already, I would like to now already start taking some audience questions. I think there's one particularly that feeds in very well, and we received this as a part of the registration questions. So from one of the members of the audience here, which is that what makes the female customer data different from the male customer data? I think on this, it would be very insightful to hear from both Shubhashish and from Dina from the perspective of both these companies. So maybe Shubhashish, if you'd like to kick us off.
Yes, that's a very interesting thing. And country like Bangladesh, when females are not very much open to give you for the conversations. So what we did normally, so while you have this kind of, what we did, we have built an IoT systems in the IoT system in the product. That's why basically we can remotely fetch most of the data. And we found that while we're talking with the customers, sometimes we are not getting the accurate insights from them, and women are not basically interested to talk most of the times with men. So what we did, we kept some female team members in our CRM management team, where they are, but the interesting thing is that most of our users are women. That's why we have a very strong CRM team who are continuously communicating with the women and show them what is the impact of their health and how conveniently they can cook with our systems, and showing them all the benefits of that. So with that system, basically we are able to basically get few interesting insights from the female as well.
That was very interesting and insightful to hear. Thank you, Shubhashish. Dina, now over to you. It would be interesting to know what kind of challenges do you face, considering that you do, like you mentioned, you work with customers on a slightly taboo subject like, period health. Would be really nice to hear from you.
I was in as soon as like Subhashish says, is this scenario happen to cooking section, then you can really can connect like where there is a something taboo, something very own to females only, that how could be. We actually faces lots of challenges just to know how they feel and to break the icing thing first. There is something I can say, like we got some data from the factories, and they are have some challenges. Like first one is they are working there, so they have some time limitation and they have some targeted. So if first thing crack their head is that if I invest my 5 minutes to another thing, so I have to lose my 5 minutes in my productivity. So they actually don't much interested to talking about it. So this is one thing. Actually, the original scenario behind this is that the supervisor or line manager who are there, they actually thought what they think about it. Female workers thought that the males think what male think about them if they talked with us, if they talk with their very private things. So this shyness, this taboo-ness is killing them, actually killing this. Another thing is sometimes they are open to talk about things, but then it needs too much time to get ready to say what they are facing. And third one is they actually faces a lot of challenges, lot of things, but they don't have any places to get the proper information and to know where they can go about their challenges, about their problems. So I got their three valuable insights from them that they actually want to talk, but they don't get it because of the environment, because of the male perspective, and the second one is they are not too much opinionate, like they don't want to bother others people to knowing their stuff. So there's actually much challenging thing what I can imagine, what we can imagine. So far that was my experiences. If only when we can collect data from their leisure time or from their home, maybe that time we can get something insightful. But in a workplace, they are not open about it actually.
Thank you so much, Tina. I think that's so insightful to also like understand where and when and what degree of information can be gathered more effectively from female customers. Thanks a lot. Now with that, I want to turn to some of the audience questions here on chat. The first one is from engineer Vadud Manik, who asks, can we combine a pilot project with these wonderful impact organizations to reflect their joint efforts on a specific model village or rural area so that the overall improvement of lifestyle of that region can be represented as iconic data? I think that's such an interesting suggestion. So yeah, I'll leave it up to you, whoever wants to address that comment first from the three of you.
I think it's easily possible, and I'm always open to, and I basically, I told you that I know Rizwan Bhai personally, and they're doing amazing job, and it will be our honor to be a part of with their project as well.
So same for us. Obviously, I have heard that government has some initiatives like building smart villages or something like that. Maybe we can get involved over there, like how, because not only smartness is the thing, we are trying to make some impacts also on the people's life. So how the impact is working, that is very much important over here. So yeah, we can maybe if Jordan, in our next excursion session, we can discuss with all the ecosystem builders about this, like making some pilots somewhere in Bangladesh.
That's an incredible suggestion. Thank you, and thank you also for the forthcomingness. Then there's another question from the audience this is specifically for Shubhashish. It's fascinating to see the extent of data you're capturing. Could you please explain how you collect data at source, and do you obtain data directly from the system, such as the biodigester or the cooking stove? This comes from Nathan Shortcut.
Yes, that's a really interesting question. Yes, for the e-cook, for the induction stoves, I told you that we have IoT device built in the inside of the systems that basically fetches the data every day. And that and on the next day, we got all the data. And for the biodigesters, again, we are the first in Bangladesh who has implemented these live data systems. But to be honest with you, to do that with all the projects is very challenging. For the e-cook, it is easily possible because e-cook is already connected with the electric device. But for the biodigester to have remote monitoring device each and every, that's going to be cost too much for the marginal people. So that's why we have put those things for project basis based on the requirement. But I think for the e-cook, we are basically fetching the data from all the devices all over the world, not in Bangladesh, all over the world. Wherever you go with our stove, it will fetch data.
Thank you so much for that insight, Shubhashish. I hope that answered your questions, both Nathan and also from Vadud. Thank you so much for your questions. Just as a closing question to both the teams, probably. I'm sorry. I mean, I hope we had more time and we could have answered more questions. But just a closing question, probably, and from my side, which would be to both of you, that what would be your advice as such to enterprises, especially the audience here in terms of how can they build their IMM systems in a resource efficient manner and for maximum impact.
Rizwan bhai, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. The first thing is like that, what we have learned over the last 1.5 years actually. So basically, it's very important to have access to data. Data is a very important thing for building an admin system. You need to know what the current situation is. That's the first thing, that the data that you need first. Then actually what your initiative is adding to those existing data, and finally where you actually want to go. So all those things you need to have data in different stages of your journey. So whenever you build a system, I would suggest any new initiative who are trying to build an impact initiative based on impact, they should also focus on about collecting data. They should build a platform or system how they can easily collect data and scale it well. So that's my suggestion from my side actually, because data-driven works obviously gives more benefits and returns, not only to the startups or the initiative takers, but also to the society actually. So that's from my side.
Yeah,
Thanks
and from
so
my
much.
side,
Yeah.
I think I agree with Rizwan bhai. If you are impact-driven organizations, so first of all, you need to know what is the biggest problem you are trying to solve and what is the biggest impact you are making. So if you could try to, if you successfully find out what is the biggest impact you are making. So from the scratch, or from the, as I told you, from the, if you think about the sales funnel, you should start tracking those particular data from the beginning to end, and trying to track each and every impact. Trust me, this is gonna help in the going forward for your stakeholders. So all the stakeholders like Jordan is here, or Adrija is here, they will be always asking you, give me the data. So show me the impact. So all of your stakeholders will always look for those kind of impact data, whether you have started from scratch it or not. And I'm sure if you build an ecosystem of data management and if parking your data. So sometimes we are very careless about, we are always focused about selling a particular thing, but from the where the sales is coming, who is your targeted customers, what is the gender propositions, what is the demographic locations, you need to know that. That's going to help you to analyze your business. That's going to help you to analyze your impact in the going forward. So you should have come up with a proper ecosystem of data management, and you should have some kinds of lucrative kind of dashboard that can show you the basic impactful data that you can show it to your stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rizwan and Shubhashish, and very, very well spoken, that it's very easy to get lost in the day-to-day of the business and to not be able to prioritize data collection in a certain manner. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing your insights. And with that, I would like to hand it back to Jordan to close the discussions for the day. It was a huge pleasure to be able to facilitate this conversation. Thank you.
Wow, so many great insights. Thank you very much, Adrija, for moderating the conversation. And also a huge thank you to everyone in the audience for being active and sharing some wonderful questions, both before today's event as well as during the event. We're really grateful to have your interest and engagement throughout. And of course, last but not least, I want to definitely say a big thank you again to the panelists. Absolutely, it was such a pleasure to hear your specific insights around data collection and also data management. For me, I particularly found the insights into your data management systems when you both shared your screens and showed us the ins and outs of how that looks to be particularly insightful. And I hope that the entrepreneurs on today's call can also learn some fascinating insights that they can take with them going forward. And as you know, this was only a 1-hour conversation, so we could really just scratch the surface. And I really hope that this will remain a continued conversation. So we look forward to continuing to engage with everyone. We'll be following up after today with a recording from the event, as well as some social media posts. So we want to make sure that, you know, if you are interested in this topic, that you continue to engage with us there. And as mentioned at the beginning, we'll be launching the next phase of Biniyog Briddhi in May. So looking forward to reconnecting with everyone in person then, and can't wait to support more enterprises on the ground. So thank you so much once again. With that, I'd like to wish everyone a good rest of the afternoon. And yeah, thank you very much.